Hey everybody, it's Toronto Unicorn and
Hey.
A is here with her A mug and I'm here with my Toronto Unicorn mug and we have so much girl talk to have. She agreed to go on this video with us as long as I blur her face, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's get started. I've got so much to ask you. So I am curious to give my audience an entirely different perspective in this lifestyle than the one they hear all the time. So I'm a single girl who had different fantasies than you maybe and different entrance ways. And they all know that. So I want you to give me the A perspective and your experience specifically.
Okay.
All right, my very first question for lovely A, and just to introduce her correctly, A is one of the very first unicorns I successfully ever picked up. I think you might have been the first one actually with men. Like I was there hunting with men for a sexy woman to join us, and she had to cut a lot of criteria off because I had sexy men who had expectations about what they're looking for. And I just remember working so fucking hard to get this girl to join us because I was like, she's perfect. So anyways, fast forward and we've had so many amazing experiences since. So you're a personality behind some of my videos, some of our experiences. And so that's why you're here. And now you're going to give your perspective on all of these things. Mm-hmm. All right. Tell me about your start in the lifestyle, what pushed you over the edge to get started, and how it unraveled.
Yeah. So it was honestly very recently. I think that's one thing that we differ in our journeys is you've been in this and knowing you wanted this for a while. Obviously not your whole adult life, but longer than I have. Mine was like not even a year ago. But I realized I wanted to be more a part of the sex positive community here in Toronto, because I was in, a monogamous relationship. I feel like this is how everyone starts. They're in a monogamous relationship and they realize maybe this isn't for me. So I was like following people on Instagram. So I knew I wanted to be part of the sex positive community and I was not in it. I didn't know anybody. I was living normal vanilla life. And I was like, how do I get there? I was listening to the Sex Positive podcast and they're talking about how they got into it. And they were saying how they went to Oasis and that's where they built all these relationships. And now that's where they go to these sex parties with. Cause I hear about these sex parties. I'm like, how does that even happen? Like, is there a group chat? Is there a Facebook page? Like what's going on? And now here we are, we have that. So I was like, okay, Oasis is the spot. This is happening. I had this realization right before COVID happened, couldn't go. And I was cooped up and I was like, oh my gosh. So Oasis opened their first weekend. I think it was a Friday. They were open Friday, Saturday. I was there Friday as a single woman by myself, which I later realized was kind of epic. Like you don't go to a bar by yourself, but I was like, I'm going to go meet all these strangers in a sex club alone as a single woman who's 20 years old. And I've never done this. Like it was kind of crazy, but in the moment I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Like, sure. And a lot of people were like, whoa, you're ballsy going here. But that's kind of how I went. And then everything's come since then. It was honestly just a curiosity. I wasn't going there to be like, I want to have my first threesome or anything like that. I just wanted to meet more like-minded people who were in this lifestyle because I was just curious, really.
That makes a lot of sense. And so now that you're not just a foot inside the door of this lifestyle, you've fully seen the inside of this lifestyle, at least enough to make a judgment or an assessment. What advice would you give the A version of yourself that was too shy to go? What would you tell her to make her realize it's okay?
It would honestly just be from the side of like, I've had so many good experiences and met so many people. And I just say like, it's not a scary experience at all. Everybody is like so kind and so nice. Yeah.
Well, unusual. Like we're like, are you sure you're in Toronto? Because if you step outside here, people are much ruder to you when you try to talk to them. But it's true. It's very nice.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, especially because there's so many like people that you'll come across. But I've only had good experiences, and it's everybody from different walks of life. That was another thing that I found so interesting is like I'm meeting all these people that I would have never met, different working experience, like different jobs and stuff like that. And I'm like, we would never come across ever. And here we are like having a conversation naked in a pool. Like it's just crazy.
It's true. And one of those elements that some people really specifically talk about is the lack of your almost shell that you can wear in society to like communicate who you are, because you put all that in a locker and you're naked just like everyone else. And so you don't actually know like what somebody dresses like usually until after you've slept with them, which is something that has been a good thing or a surprising thing. You know? It's like, is that your kilt?
Yeah, some people wear clothes and I'm like, whoa, like you look so nice. Like,
yeah, exactly. I've gotten turned on by watching you guys. I remember Jay, the first time I saw Jay get in his street clothing, and I remember like watching him like that. I was like so turned on. So
it's so weird.
Yeah.
Also, like, it's definitely everyone's like the same even playing ground. We're all there naked. It's like it doesn't matter what you do, really. Like it doesn't affect me at all. So
meaning that you could go there and be a voyeur and literally just come and be social and not have sex with anyone and still be a valued part of the night, right?
Yes, for sure. And that was my whole experience for a long, long time. I went in there and obviously I was shy. And my story isn't I went in there shy and then I went and started having threesomes left and right. I went in there wearing a full bathing suit while everybody else was naked. That was another part of my first experience. I was wearing a club dress and like chunky booty heels. I was wearing shoes. I got in there, I was like, I'm overdressed. This is not a club. I thought it was like sex club, not a club. It was not a club. Everyone was in a towel. So quickly I was like, okay, this is not the attire. Then I wore a bathing suit every single week for a long, long time. Didn't play with anybody, didn't kiss anybody for a long time.
So let's elaborate on that. How long of a time did you go without ever playing? So in the swinger world, we like to call sex or like playing around play. So how did you have any play with anyone for several times that you went to Oasis?
Oh, it would have had to be at least, I think I didn't play for like 2 months. And that's not like me going once a month. That was me going every week. I went so I wasn't in this lifestyle. And then I went every week.
Yeah.
For like all of summer when it was open at the end of the summer.
Yeah. And then to be clear though, you had plenty of opportunity. It was your choosiness, right? Like it was your option to not play.
For sure. There was a lot of single men. But it was like, these are strangers. Like for me, I didn't go to Oasis looking to have sex in public. That wasn't a thing for me. I know some people go and they love, what's the word?
Exhibitionism, I think.
Exhibition. Yeah, not me. Yeah. So that's another thing. I was like, oh no. So when I did start playing, the only time I would play with someone is if we got the private room. So I'd meet somebody. Yeah. I feel like you don't use that room really.
I only ever used it once with B. And ever since then, I just don't give a shit who sees where my holes are getting plowed. I just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm at that point too now. But in the beginning, it would be like I'd meet someone. And I'm kind of like you. I can't really play with someone the first time I meet them if they're like a stranger.
Yeah.
Which might seem weird because we're like going to a sex club, but that's just how it is for me. So usually I'd see someone one week, we'd exchange contact. Oh, are you going next Wednesday? Sure. And then we meet, and then maybe that would be the time we'd play. And I'd be like, okay, but can we get the private room? They'd say, of course. And then we'd do that because when you're at the club, you'll get people looking at you. Like that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And I wasn't comfortable with that at first.
So at least there is that option. But yeah, I didn't know you used the private room a lot. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I used it with like at least like 3 people before I started getting comfortable with other places. Yeah, and then after a while, so it would be like I'd have that sex. And those days I'd be wearing a bathing suit because this was still like I would still wear a bathing suit. Keep in mind, everybody else is naked. Yeah. Like I'm the odd one out wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah.
And then I'd have sex, and then I'm like, okay, I don't really need to put my top back on. I just had sex. So then that's how I slowly got to the root of being naked, which now I go naked. Yeah.
It's true. That's how I did it too. It's because they were already off. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, I could put them back on. And I think everybody's different. Like when you first go, a lot of people will go naked. I brought a girlfriend of mine who's not in this lifestyle. She's not looking to be in this lifestyle, but I was going every week. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why don't I show you? And I was like, we can wear full clothes. We'll wear full clothes, or you can wear a bathing suit, whatever. So you're comfortable. She's like, no, I want to go naked. Like, I want the experience. This girl, I was like, whoa, okay, great. Yeah. And she just dove in.
Well, people are really just ready to be like free, and
yeah,
uninhibited. It's nice to see. All right. Okay. So let's move on. That was a great answer. I'm excited for where this is going to go. If you would be able to say that you've learned any lessons, even good lessons or hard lessons from having your first threesomes, foursomes, fivesomes, whatever. With most of those are with me and my friends, other friends. So it's what have you learned along the way about, you know, what things that worked, things you liked, things that didn't?
So for me, because going in, I didn't really have these experiences. I hadn't had threesomes. I hadn't had, you know, all this group sex stuff. You have to really just like be true to yourself as you're learning. So when I'm doing these things, I'm like, do I like this? Do I not like this? Because a lot of people who haven't done these things are like, I want this. I want a threesome. I want a group sex. That doesn't mean that you want it. You know what I mean? So it's just like being true to yourself and being like, evaluating your own values, because everybody is going to go to the sex club for what they want, right? Like a couple is going to go there looking to have sex and do what they want to do. Everybody's nice, but they're thinking about themselves first, to be honest with you, right? Like you have to be able to speak up for yourself and be like, that's not something I'm interested in. You seem really nice, but no. And after, sometimes in the real world, I feel like I can get swayed. I'm like, I can be convinced really easily. And after a couple drinks I have at the club to loosen up, like you really have to know what you want and what you don't want going into things.
Yeah.
And the importance of communicating with people, because seriously, like you're there naked, you have to speak up. Yeah, and say your mind and not worry about hurting other people's feelings or what they want and making them happy. It is not about making them happy. It is about making yourself content with what you're doing.
It's true. And it's funny because you're so much younger than me. I'm 38. You're how old now?
I just turned 21.
21. And it's funny because you're one of the more inspiring communicators I've seen in this lifestyle, because you've inspired me to speak up about things that I've experimented with that I'm like, maybe it's not for me. You know, like things that I didn't know wouldn't be for me, but it's a lot of work. I'm not really into breaking a sweat during sex and like not that kind of sweat. So yeah. I feel like in a way your openness to say that, you know, maybe a certain position you didn't really like almost inspired me to be like reconsider my own value in that position, and was like, well, maybe it's fun for like a couple minutes.
Yeah, because it's easy to go along with it, right? When there's like you want to make them happy, and it's like part of like having group sex, I realize it's kind of like a show, right? Like when so much is going on, at least for me, like we've talked about, I don't like having too much going on. Like I don't want to be doing work over here, something's happening. Like it's just too much for me.
But what if you had multiple people working on you?
Yeah, I'm selfish, obviously.
Like, so we all are. And that's why I'm thinking, as long as we get better at communicating, these guys, let's just be really honest, these guys are there to please us, and they're going to be very great at delivering if we can customize a unique fantasy to ask them for. I think that with the next time we find ourselves in a room with these boys, we ask them to, both of them, service us at a time instead of just plug us, because let's see, because I'll also be there. You'll also be there. That's 3 people on one. Let's experience what goddess sex is. I mean, why not ask for it?
Yeah, that would be good.
So I'll be your voice. Don't worry.
No, I'll be like, yeah, great idea. Woo.
Oh, I do it for Jared all the time. I'm like, it's all like, I just communicate so clearly, because it's so unabashed for me to talk about that. It so gets everybody so aligned so quickly on things. It's a wonderful thing that I've learned. And by the way, when you made an earlier topic about how, you know, now you go to Oasis and now you go to these hotel parties and we have all these things, the Facebook group, whatever. I didn't know where this shit was either. I had to create it out of nothing. I created the idea of like the hotel, like invites and like a group chat. Like I didn't have like a playbook.
Yeah.
It's when I realized that if you can create your own destiny in this lifestyle, you don't sit and wait for a fucking invitation. If you want house parties, you build the network and make your house parties happen. Like I didn't realize, for me personally, that I'd ever find myself in an orgy, because I knew I don't have sex with strangers. I don't want one person in the room that I don't want to play with. Some people don't agree with that, and it's caused friction for some of my friendships, but I don't want anyone in the room that I don't want to be, when my eyes are closed, I don't want to wonder if they're touching me in that way.
I feel 100% safe.
Yeah. And so I didn't think I'd ever have the ability to have an orgy, because that's a lot statistically, like that's just not likely.
The odds, yeah.
But, exactly. But when it was a bunch of singles who came together in this lifestyle, it started kind of with Jay and I, we built it up a little bit with like you and B, and then we all kept building. And it's funny because we are creating our fantasies we didn't know we had, because we can do it our comfortable way. and we don't have to do it just anyway in order to say we did it. And I just think like we've like won the swinger lottery when you realize that you can really just customize for your own hedonistic experiences.
Yeah. And this might have just been me, maybe nobody else thinks this, but I always thought like these group things like swing, I always thought it was like a couple who was like married and they have this solid like 5-year long relationship at least, you know what I mean? But here we are, we're doing it and we're all single. None of us are like in a relationship with each other, you know what I mean? And we're just like all pals who like get together and do this thing all as singles, and we're like having such a fun time. So seriously, you could just like do it. And if you have a couple of friends, you can be the Toronto Unicorn, bring everybody together, make that group chat and just build it, make it happen. Like your dream could come true.
If you can throw a dinner party, you can throw a swinger party.
Oh yeah.
You just need more towels.
And probably
and other things.
It's cheaper.
Oh, I actually did a lessons learned exercise with Jay after our last hotel party about bring wine opener, like things that we can do to improve the next one, because I'm in project management and like I like to, I'm a process efficiency expert. And so I like to like constantly improve and things. And that's actually some of the skill sets that I brought into my orgy coordinator. So I do have to show a little clip of, I made myself some orgy coordinator merchandise. So this is on my website right now, because I am so finding my home in this role of orgy coordinator, especially because I understand the psychology involved of all of the things that could be prickly or sensitive. And I think that I'm a comfortable person that people can go to, and like, I help navigate those things so that they don't just have to miss out. We can just like figure it out, So I'm finding my home in this lifestyle and I like it. I like orgy coordinator as a title.
And it's not like a self-given title. Like since she like chatted with me and like made me feel comfortable to get me to meet like her boys, like this has been a role.
It has been so fucking like, we are the luckiest fucking 4 OGs to start with, right? Because we started really just the 4 of us. We are the luckiest that all of us are cool. Like all of us were here for the same reason. None of us were here to like have feelings for each other or like, build something weird on the side. It's literally just enjoy each other's, like, I actually get joy seeing your chemistry with both B and J when it's in front of me. Maybe when it's not in front of me, I'd be like I wouldn't enjoy it. I don't know if I'd be bothered, but I wouldn't enjoy it. But when it's in front of me, when you spark, I like to see it. It's when normally that would be threatening to me outside of a swinger club, seeing some guy I like sparking with some girl, but it's beautiful to see because the sex is going to be great. And that's what we're all there for. And we want real chemistry, not just some Barbie doll unicorn coming in to be a whole, rental for the night. I hate to be so fucking vulgar, but like, that's how they make us feel sometimes.
Yeah. And the dynamic really works.
It really does. And I mean, it's not, nothing stays perfect forever. And there might always be ups and downs and whatnot. But the good news is we're all our own independent, like part of this little network. And so even if 1 or 2 of us do drift off, like we can still the others can stay in touch. Like it's everyone for themselves in a way, which is kind of the difference of couples. Couples come in as a package and they're very careful to protect it. Right. Yeah. But when you don't have that politic, like there is some politic, I understand, but when there is no real attachments, there's so much less to worry about too, right?
Rules, right? Like
the
rules. I haven't played with couples. It's not like intentional, again, because I'm like so new. I really haven't had all the opportunities. Like you've mentioned in previous videos, if you guys have seen, about singles going to couples only nights. I am one of the women who does not enjoy couples only nights. So if you want me or most of my single friends, you have to go to the single men nights. It is just, I can't.
It's true. It is literally upsetting to go sometimes on couples only nights because you can feel like a piece of meat at a vegan party. It can be that, like, I'm telling you, couples sometimes don't all flood the unicorn. They literally are just on a date with themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, that's our grievances as unicorns. It's like, hey, I got consensus on that. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, I want to know about your side of the story of our first hotel party that happened around Jan 4, 2022 for Jay's birthday. And I want you to tell me your side.
Okay, well, at first, it was supposed to be at the club, and that didn't happen. And that was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Like I was so excited. I had never gone to one of these DTF nights. So it would have been my first. It would have been the J. Oh, so exciting. Anyways, but then of course the orgy coordinator brought it together. She made it happen. So
we went to a hotel instead of the club because nothing else was open.
Yeah, and this was legal. This was before COVID rules and all these things.
Yeah. What happened when you knocked on the door? Because it's a hard thing to show up to a hotel party. It is, because you don't know how big the hotel room is. You don't know if you're going to feel sick, if you need to exit. Like, I'm like you, I get anxiety about these kind of things. I needed, like, it is. I wanted to know, like, well, how did you walk through the door? Were you nervous?
Okay, well, also at first, I was extra nervous. I went to dinner beforehand at this restaurant I really liked, because this was like days before the restaurants were going to close. That's irrelevant. But basically, I ate a feast before I was going to be naked having sex. So that was all that was on my mind. I was not worried about the social anxiety. I was like, my stomach is going to be bloated. I'm going to feel fat and not sexy. Like, I'm not going to feel good. Also, another worry, there was a couple there that I hadn't played with before. And I was like, okay, how is this going to go? Like, well, it was just sort of the unknown, right? I go to the door. I'm walking down the hall. I'm like, wow. I took a picture of the hallway because I'm like, I need to, like, this is the day. This is like my first hotel, you know. Yeah. I go to, there's you and Jay in there, the OG coordinators. And then there's a couple who I'd met once before at the club. I think it was like the first day I was there. And they told me about themselves and how they've been in the lifestyle for like ever. And they're very experienced. And I was like, whoa. They were there, very friendly. And then I think what were we doing? We were just chit-chatting. We were just hanging out. So it always starts off slow. So if you've never done these things, it's not like you get into a hotel. Well, maybe not in our experience.
Depends on what time you show up, I think. Because if it starts at 7 and you show up at 7, it's no clothing is on. People are sober-ish, you know. But if you show up at 10, people could be sucking deep.
Yeah. So you need to prepare for that also. But when I went in at the time that it was starting and everyone's chilling. It starts out slow. And I like that personally because I think I'd feel uncomfortable going in. People are already having sex. I can't just turn on my horniness like this, right? Yeah. And then, so we're just chilling. You're a little bit stressed from the day of organizing the hotel and running around for the hotel, right? Like we get the privilege of just showing up and be like, okay, like, let's have a drink and have some sex. But she's been organizing this thing all day, right? Mm-hmm. So after a little while, we're like, you need to have a shower after your day. I was just out shopping and having dinner. I want to shower too. It's nice to freshen up, right? And even at the club, before we head upstairs, which is the wink, wink, head upstairs, like that's when the stuff is going to start happening. Yeah. We all take a rinse.
It's true. And just to add to this point, if you want to be hygienic in this lifestyle, then shower before you have sex. Like that's you if you're going to have a group sex, just shower. Just put your body underwater and shower. You don't have to worry about if you're hygienic. Shower.
Yeah, it's seriously, it's not that serious at all. It takes you 3 minutes? Yeah, showering is like a simple thing that gives you peace of mind. You're not worrying a guy's behind you, you're bent over. You want to make sure everything's nice and pretty. Like we're really down there in there. And another thing is it's like not, you can be laying in bed, you're chilling. This can be a duo thing. This can be you and your partner go and shower together. And it can be where you start making out, start handing, touching each other. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't have to be a weird, I need to shower. You're going to awkwardly sit here for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be like the ladies shower together like we did, right? Like it'd be like, hey, why don't you watch? Apparently, the couple Jay, not my friend Jay, but there's so many Jays. Apparently he was like right there, ready. As soon as we put the invitation out, he was in the doorway, ready for us to be in the shower. And I took so much like pleasure out of that because I was like, oh God, someone enjoyed it.
It was so funny, yeah. It was like the first move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can I watch? I was like, the night is starting. We're going.
It is. And like I loved it because it's just like a little thing that maybe you haven't done before. I see two girls shower together. Like now they have, you know, it's like in a few ways we just checked off a whole bunch of check boxes for people, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's difficult to go from we're all chilling, daytime, wearing clothes to sex. Like that transition for me at least, right? Like I think for everybody, that's kind of like it's a step. So I think it's nice to have like an easy transition. What we'll do sometimes, we'll play a game. It might seem silly, but it's like, you need it. It's not silly, it's fun. You can play like truth or dare, and then you dare them to kiss. Because then once the touch and the kiss boundary is broken, you're good, right? Yeah. Because since I haven't touched this person ever, that is like a weird thing. Like
True.
you feel it, like it's like, I've never touched this guy in my life. This is kind of odd. You can play like a truth or dare. Another thing that happens if you're not even just playing games, if two people are getting like really hot and steamy cuddling and they start making out and you're watching that, then you can start making out with the person next to you, and then it all snowballs from there.
It happened the last time I remember I remember looking over and you and B were watching me randomly just start reviving Jay's poor tired cock because it was like completely flaccid, and I just kept putting it in my mouth because I was like, his cock just really turns me on. There's something about it. There's like a magical potion in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we started spin the bottle. And you said that you felt that was a very good intro into the breaking the touch barrier, because that is the issue. It's like when you finally can like say and like you feel comfortable with people, you can just kind of start touching and like everything.
Yeah.
So we all found ourselves on our knees, us ladies, at the same time with some lovely, delicious cock around us.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
This is like my first time experiencing this. I was like, this is like what they have in porn. Like, whoa. And I found it really worked out with the number of people. Like we had, was it even?
6, it was even.
Yeah. So I think having that was so easy, right? Because then it's like a girl's paired with this person, paired, we switch. And it's not like a spoken thing about switching, but it'll be like 2 girls onto 1, and then someone will move over. And it's just like a seamless little show. And then from there, I think, at least I was getting like really excited. I was like, I want to get something inside me. Like, and then I think I moved someone over to a bed. I think I was like, let's go on the bed.
I think you and Jay went and started fucking first. I think you guys started. Wait, you fucked Jay the first time, right? Yes, it was you.
Yeah.
So you guys, I think so. I think you started, and then the other ones kind of caught up eventually.
Yeah. I remember. We were first. No one else was having sex. And then
what made you have sex so fast? Like, tell me, like, what was exciting about it with him?
Okay, honestly, I think some people out there really love giving oral.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a lot of work.
It is.
And I was really horny, and I don't get like that much pleasure out of it. And I just wanted to get banged. Like, they're all so hot. I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't want to be sitting there doing this like forever. Like, come on. Right?
That's honesty. I love it. See, I'm a little different. I love cocky sucking so much that I get mad when men stop me.
Oh, total opposites. It's like the perfect fluffer.
We really are. And I remember I love being the fluffer for our group stuff because in a way, like I just don't mind. Like I'm happy with their dicks in my mouth, you know. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad. So then you basically end up on the bed. I remember it looked really steamy, and then like it kind of like the other 4 of us were.
So we were having sex, then how did you guys start having sex?
Well, before you guys had sex, we were all still on the beds playing around. And I remember you were sucking Jay's D while Jay was on the bed, and I was over top of him and I was kissing him upside down. It was just a funny moment.
I remember this.
Yeah. And I remember like we were all playing with each other right before you guys, like we kind of paired off.
Yeah.
So in a way, that was my favorite part of the night because we all interacted with everybody. And then at one point, I was sucking someone's dick and then you were eating me out and I didn't know it was you. And that was the moment of the orgy that I was happy I made the decision in the orgy that every touch was good touch because that's why it felt good to not know who was eating me out. You know what I mean?
Because there are times where like I'll be sucking dick and then there's like hands on my boob and someone's like petting my bum and I'm like, there's so many hands. I have no idea what's going on.
And you just want to feel comfortable that those hands are good hands, right? Like, yeah. So me and you are very aligned that way. And I think that's why we know how to carve out our experiences better to have better experiences.
Yeah. And if you're like that too, you really in this lifestyle just have to be true to yourself. And like, if that's what you need, that's what you need.
Exactly.
And other people are going to be out there and they want to have sex with a stranger and they don't want to know anything about them. And they only want to have sex once. For me, I like a repeat hookup. Some people only want one experience and then they never talk to them again. They don't exchange phone numbers. They don't talk about their day-to-day life. Whereas I want to know like about you and stuff like that. So everybody's different in the lifestyle.
Same. Totally. Yeah. Okay. So then I remember you slept with Jay. You guys were having really hot sex over on one bed. And then me and I call him the Mister. I'll call him the Mister and the Miss, even though they're not married. the miss was getting very heavily domed, which is like a rough sex from B, because that's what she ordered. And he delivered. Me and her boyfriend waited until they started having sex so that we could get in position so that they could see them, because we both, him and me, wanted to watch him fuck her. So it was really hot and it worked out well. And then I remember looking over, seeing you fuck Jay, and like everybody was having a good time. And I felt like that was like a really fulfilling moment, right? Because like everybody was having a good time, and that's all we ever wanted, right?
And I finished with Jay because we got a head start. So we finished, and then we got to like watch. They were like 2 and 2 on one bed in front of each other, and they were going at it. I was like, wow. And there will be like, I feel like this doesn't happen in porn online, right? It's all like a swift, it keeps going for magically 45 minutes.
Yeah.
There's gonna be lulls, like, right, he just finished, we're gonna chill, we're gonna watch them, and that's just how it's gonna go. And then later we'll take a breath, maybe have like a snack, have a drink, we go again.
Yeah,
it's all like ramps up again.
Exactly, which is like we had a really longer night than the couple did, because they had to leave after the first round, and then basically you went and had a really fun night with B, right?
Yeah, the second time.
Yeah, so you got to have sex with both of those juicy boys that we know we share very well together. They both really enjoy you, like especially your hair. I feel like there's something beautiful about it, and like angelic or majestic or something about it. And I just, not every guy's in the same thing, but like, yeah, it's one of those things that like everybody looks forward to when you're there. It's like your beautiful hair and your beautiful ass, because like you've got a lot of like juicy curves and everything. But I just it was just one of those things that like really stands out about you to some people, is like how beautiful you are, is like because of your beautiful hair too. So just so you know, ponytails are functional, but they don't fulfill a man's fantasy the same way.
I feel like because in the pool at Oasis one time, I think my hair was in like a bun. And she was like, that's going to need to come down when we go upstairs.
I think I didn't say that to you. I was like, they want to see your hair.
Yeah.
Especially Jay, he likes to grab it. Like he's like, he gets like really turned on about thinking about it. So it's like, you don't want them to have those experiences, you know?
Yeah.
So awesome. Okay. So then you ended up having sex with the other guy, and then we all kind of had a relaxing night. And then you left. So when you got home and you left, what were your afterthoughts of the night? Like, did you have a good time? Did you walk out saying, I'm glad I did that?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Good.
So after the hotel party, yeah, when I got home, it was like all good thoughts. I had such a good experience. I was like, I think just happy and genuinely grateful for like the group of people I met. Like that sounds so like, you know what, but yeah, I was like, these people, like, I feel like I took a step back and like realized, I was like, wow, like these experiences are happening to me, because you always go through things and then you're going to look back on them and be like, wow, like that was such a good time. Those are such good people. And I don't have those people anymore. Right. So I was just like, wow, like right now we're so solid and this is going so good. And yeah, it was just such a good experience.
I know exactly what you mean, because how many of us have had these wonderful things form that just naturally disintegrate in their own way. And so you want to remember in the moments that these are the moments. Like you don't know if we're all going to get together again because of whoever knows, right? So I love that you thought that too, because I'm just so grateful that every single one of us got along with the same vibe. And Jay and I actually had like pillow talk kind of chat about that. And I said how sacred this group is to me, and how I wouldn't add anybody who's a wild card. Like I simply would vet people, anybody coming in. And so I realized that because I'm the one coordinating and frankly getting the hotels and things, I actually realized that that's actually how I can control the guest list to my comfort level. Mm-hmm. Instead of being a diva at a swinger party, I can just create the pitch perfect swinger party based on my comfort level. And so I'm really starting to realize that I have some empowerment as a coordinator role, especially as a girl, to vet other girls. The last thing we need is some girl coming in there and trying to steal time with one of the guys and making anyone feel uncomfortable. Like I would unfortunately have a situation that I would have to deal with that, because no one wants bad feelings in these events. No, like 7 minutes of heaven is one thing, but like trying to steal a guy so that no one else fucks him first or something is something that we're not going to have at these parties. Like, and that's why I'm so protective of it, because like I see how great the people are that we've kind of got already. And I just think, let's not taint it by adding so many more. Who needs 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 people when we can have such great experiences with what we've got?
Yeah, quality over quantity for sure.
Definitely.
And it's all about, just like in regular life, it's so much is just like respect, like regular respect for the other people and their feelings. And you just have to communicate, right? Like if someone's going to get their feelings hurt, you obviously don't want that. You don't want to mess with everything that's going on.
Yeah. But there's ways to still address your own maybe issues. Like for example, there's always going to be the issue of maybe some of the people don't get along. Like for example, you haven't met M yet and you still won't. Right. And part of me is like not that sad about that, because what if you don't get along? Like what if you don't get along?
That was a fear of the first hotel party. I was like,
because you're taking a chance, right? Like I vetted her. Like I know that she's like a solid, like nice girl, but the personality wise, you never know, right? She's also dominant, just like I am, and so that could be confusing for two dominant women in the room.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I've never had these experiences watching these guys that I've been with be with other women in front of me.
Yeah.
So that was like my first experience, right? And obviously I'm used to it with you, but then we bring other girls into it, which we have before. And then I'm like navigating these feelings. And I'm like, do I like this? What's going on here? Like, I'm kind of confused.
And did you like it? Like, tell me about the feelings, because I'm actually curious, because I have my own bugged out moments in this lifestyle that I'm just curious if anyone does have weird feelings on their side, because we're all humans, right? Like,
because you hear all these people who love it. They're like, it's so hot. And I've had that before where I've brought a guy that I was hooking up with outside to Oasis, and I was like, I want to watch him with another girl. It'll be so hot. Like I want him to get with someone else.
Yeah.
Then we had someone come in to our OG4 who we didn't really know. We met them that day, and she was like a single woman. And that's what you do at these clubs. Like if there's a girl by herself, you don't have to, but you should be kind and like talk to them and like bring them under your wing, because that always all about like chit-chatting and talking. Like when I went for the first time as a single woman, some people that you knew that I didn't even know you knew, because they were like random people, came up to me and were like comforting me and talking to me since it was my first experience. But anyways, we bring her in. And for me, it's like a lot about my mindset, and like when I'm like hooking up, like I'm really, really into it. And then when I'm done hooking up, I'm kind of like no longer in the sexy mood. So I was done and she was playing and I was watching and I was like, okay, like this is like, he's fucking another girl. Like I'm watching this, like, let's see. And I wasn't into it. Like I didn't not like it, but I wasn't like, wow, this is so hot. And I was kind of just like sitting out of it. I was like, meh. So then I was like, okay, like I'm going to go to the washroom and I'm just going to like have my space, drink some water, like post sex, whatever. Yeah. Which I feel like is kind of like a little unfortunate. I don't know. I feel like I would have wanted to be like so into it, but like I wasn't. And that's just like the honest truth.
But do you think it was the girl or him having sex with any girl in front of you?
I think it was the girl.
Which I think, to be honest, matters a lot. No, it's really honest. So it matters. And one of the things that I've heard guys say is that they won't get off watching, for example, me get fucked by some guy if they don't think that guy is good looking. Like, or if they don't have like some kind of, they don't see the sex appeal in it. There's nothing, otherwise, why would you feel good about that? So if you're not like attracted to the girl, you're not going to enjoy it the same either.
And going into the evening, meeting this girl, it wasn't in my mind that we were going to be playing with this girl. She was just like a random girl, right? Like we were just chit-chatting. And then I feel like you have to have a different mindset, right? Like I don't play with that many girls. I'm not used to it. And how it happened with her was it was like mid-scene, like it was mid-playing. I was literally having sex with Jay and they were like, can this girl come in? And I was like, what? Like who? Like what's going on here? Like I was in the middle of something, having sex. Like I wasn't like... you know, and I was like, well, yeah, like, of course, I'm not going to like say no. He was like, yeah, everybody said yeah. So I was like, yeah. And I think it was just, it might not have been the girl. I think it was just my mindset altogether that it happened we were already hooking up. This girl came in secondarily. Yeah.
It wasn't ideal in that way. I was glad she asked because I was happy to share, like, for example, like the guys sometimes have more fucking than we have like want for, right? And so for me, I don't mind sharing that way, but like, I don't actually think I would normally ever be okay to be asked mid-scene if somebody could join, because there's way too much pressure, especially if one of the groups said no, because I've had to say no before when I was with M and someone else, and I think it was JRB, and I had to say no to another guy that they wanted to bring in because like I just didn't feel comfortable. And like when you're the only one that says no, you feel bad about that.
Yeah. And she was standing right there, like they were right there, right? Like they're in front of you. Like it would be like the reason you're not here is because that girl who's 1 foot away from you said no. And which like it wouldn't have been like hard feelings, I'm sure. Like we reject guys all the time that try to come on to us at the club. But
yeah.
Anyways, so that just made me realize like I don't think it's like that hot.
Interesting. What if it was a girl you picked out for him to fuck?
Yeah, it would have been totally different. I would have thought it was so hot.
Okay, so that's good to know because when you and I had this talk with Jay recently too. It's like you're navigating this path of swinger and the sex positive lifestyle, and you'll like hit like an electrocuted line, and you're like, bad feeling, bad feeling, bad feeling, and you have to figure out how do you continue down the swinger line without hitting that bad feeling all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes it's just a matter of realizing, oh, that way it didn't go well. Let's not do that again. We'll just never, next time we'll just do it this way. And in a way, like we can just keep improving and like not, maybe we'll have a no additional partners mid-scene rule as our group if we feel there's too much pressure on all of us to do that, because I don't think we need the numbers. Like I think we got the novelty of the orgy and the, the 6 people, like we got those numbers. Now it's really about quality and how many dicks and pussies do you really need?
And it can be like, for people out there, this is like a before talk that you can have like in the pool with your partner when there's like no stakes. Like you can be talking about like the couple at the other side of the pool. We've done this. We're like, what do we think? Like, are they cute? Is that guy cute?
Yeah.
Like a pre-talk.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of pre-talks. I think me and we have some of the people have like code words and things like not to be stupid or silly, but if we just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, sometimes we'll just have a signal, like we go for a drink or something if we just aren't interested or in the middle of a conversation, something like that communicates to the other partner, oh, we're going to move on. Like, so if you could give single men advice at any age who want to walk into a sex club for the first time and be welcomed with the best possible reaction, what advice would you give them?
Okay. You've heard this before, but you seriously have to go in with an open mind. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad experience. We've seen so many typically young men come in, young, like student age, whatever. They come in, hotshot, they think they're going to get laid, and they don't. And then we never see them ever again. And they never come back.
Get mad even. Yeah.
They think they like deserve this cooch. Like, I don't know, man.
Yep.
Also, it is your experience, right? Like you have to take it into your control, just like how she has designed and made this group and done the hotel parties. You have to do it for yourself. For a man to go in, you can't, I'm just being honest, you can't sit back and sit on your bum all day by the pool and expect cooch to come and sit on you. It's not going to happen. It literally will not happen. It's not going to happen. You need to socialize and you need to talk to people. This is a social environment. The pool, you need to go and be so friendly. You need to be friendly and talk to people. If they reject you, maybe they don't want to chit chat. They're not interested. They'll say the code word. They're like, I need to have a drink. Take the message. They don't want to talk to you. It's okay.
Take the message.
Talk to somebody else. Yeah. You keep it moving. Don't get your feelings hurt.
Keep it moving.
Like seriously, you can't get too fixated. The other thing is you have to keep in mind that us single women, it is very vulnerable to be there surrounded by strangers naked. Okay. And it's very consent focused in these clubs, even to touch someone on a shoulder. At a bar, you might like touch someone and like move around them. No physical contact unless you explicitly ask, is it okay? Because if you're in a group and a guy just stands a little too close to you, her and I will talk about it later and be like, he made me feel uncomfortable and you don't want that. We're never going to talk to you ever again. And we're going to think you're kind of creepy.
It's
so
true.
Seriously, be friendly. Don't be too pushy. If they're not interested, move along and consent, seriously, about every little thing. It might sound silly. You have to. And like, I've had men who multiple, I think like 4 at this point, who have like randomly come up to me and asked me for a massage. That's so nice of them. I politely say, no, thank you. I don't want you to touch me. I don't know who you are. No. And you just have to like, be nice and keep it moving.
Yeah. Offering a massage isn't a bad way to try and get a woman's attention, but not all women want one, and you have to be okay with that. But like some women, like when I remember accepted a massage once and then ended up taking that guy upstairs. So sometimes it works out. But for people like us, we don't like touch, we don't want touch. I get mad in the pool if a man touches me without consent because it's such a boundary, right? And like some people won't get mad. I get mad. Like I will look mad too. So
if your behavior is incorrect right now, you're doing something wrong.
in a way, like I know this is kind of like inappropriate, but I'm always like bad touch, bad touch, bad touch. Like I'm just like, no, people have real boundaries in there, and you don't want to be like putting your arm around some person who might smack you across the face if you do it because you're not allowed to touch them. Like, so you just have to be careful that you don't assume anything that you can touch anybody.
And there's no harm in asking, right? There's no harm in me being like, can I touch you? Even with like Jay, like we had already like had sex and I'd be like, is it okay that I'm like doing this? Like, are we all consenting here? And they're like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't want to expect anything of you.
It's true. And especially with you, I know to do that because you are similar to me in a certain way that sometimes you're ready for sex and sometimes you're not. And I know not to make a move at the wrong time because you'll be uncomfortable. And so I've learned to like wait until I actually know you're comfortable before I ever would pursue escalating the play or anything, because I know girls need to be swooned into that place and not abruptly like expected to just be there. So so it's always about consent. So even I always ask you, can I touch you and stuff like that, because it's like even if it was okay 600 times, the 601 time might not be okay. So okay, any advice for single women who are thinking, hey, I looked at those DTF videos, I may want to experience something like that one time? What do you recommend for women to go to this club in a safe way and feel comfortable?
Yeah, I'd say if you're shy and if you're nervous, bring somebody if you have a friend. The thing is, I didn't bring somebody and I had a totally fine experience. So it's kind of different. Like if you're shy and you're a little bit worried, I'd say, yeah, bring someone. Then you have like a backup friend. You both wear clothes. It's just like you feel better knowing you have somebody by your side. At DTF, I would ask her to be there with me. Of course, like at DTF, you would not want to go alone. Also, feeling so comfortable, you have to speak up for yourself. We've mentioned this before. And I feel like I was young. I'm kind of like, I don't know, like whatever. But you have to communicate. This is the place to do so. If a guy has his hand on you, I ask, no, thank you. He sits too close to me in the sauna. Can you please move over, sir?
Yeah.
You have to just like say it. It doesn't matter. Again, this is like we're all on the same like even playing ground.
Yeah.
You just have to speak up. And I think that's the most important.
Okay, so then single women, but like if you could say, how do you want single women to make the journey if they can't find a friend to come with them? Because that's always the case, right? Yeah. Should they come alone, even if it means they wear a bathing suit or like wear more clothes than the other people just to have a first time experience?
I'd say 100% go. Don't go on a DTF night. Go on a regular night. Go by yourself and just know what you want to do. Like I went in there being like, I know I'm not going to play with anybody, and that's fine. I went, I chit-chatted, I had fun. The staff are so friendly at these places.
Yeah.
I know all of the staff by name. I'll hang out with them during their lunch. Like they're so nice. You just have to go and be social, and it's totally a safe place, right? And you're just going to meet people that are so like-minded to you. Like everybody's so open-minded. I went in there and I was so insecure because, for example, like I grow out my body hair, and that's not really normal for like that many women that I know. And I get insecure about it sometimes, honestly, even though like it's my decision to do so with my body. I go there, I feel so comfortable, and it makes me like love my body, seeing everybody so comfortable.
You're the first woman I've ever been attracted to with body hair in places that weren't traditionally found. I remember like, that's why I always called you a mermaid, because you're so different and like unique. And like, I really like mermaids. Like that's a compliment, but like, it really is, you were so unique in your femininity and like in such a beautiful way. And I didn't normally associate with beauty before, but with you, I did. And so in a way, you've almost been a trailblazer for people who have freedom or body, what is it? Like body choice, body hair choice. I don't know what do you want to call it, but
yes.
Right. Like it goes to show that like one person out there rocking it and owning it and making it a beautiful thing kind of opens doors for other people too. So I do have to end this here, but do you have any final thoughts about this lifestyle and where you want to take it in the future?
I'd say if you haven't jumped in, jump in, do it, get your foot in there. Everybody's so nice. You're going to have all these crazy experiences, and you don't want to look back and regret not at least going once and seeing what's happening.
It's true. It's not that scary. We
Yeah.
promise. But don't go on a super big kink fetish night or DTF and it won't be that scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, A. This was such a pleasure. I'm sure I'll get a whole bunch of questions below for our next, hopefully, girl chat we can do on Zoom. So if you've got any questions for A, clearly she is an open book and she's got her own experience and she's so much younger than me. And that brings a whole level of experience from growing up in a different generation that maybe can be relatable to some of my audience that maybe my cougar-esque, 38 is a little bit on their senior side. So let us know in the comments below. And thank you so much. We can't wait to see you very, very soon with more boy sharing ahead of us.
Yes. See you guys soon.
Bye.